Welcome to Murrayfield. Although what I'm talking about on this video is the game that's just finished in Dublin, Ireland against Wales. So if you don't want to know the score, if you haven't seen it yet, then look away. Congratulations to Ireland, 31 points to 7 it finished. The bonus point in the end with the final play for Ireland. And weirdly, another convincing performance by the Irish, who are still on course for that back-to-back Grand Slam. But yet there'll be a sense of frustration in some parts, I imagine. And despite another defeat, and again, scoreline-wise, quite a big defeat for Wales, there'll still be some positives and some sense of optimism among Wales fans, which, again, it just kind of tells you where these two teams are at. I think what's important to point out is that back-to-back Grand Slams has never been done before in the Six Nations era. You have to go back a long time till it was done even in the Five Nations era, which just goes to show what a ridiculously hard competition this is. And consequently, every single win needs to be respected. So I think it would be understandable, so I'm just moving out of that guy's way, I think it would be understandable for Ireland fans to maybe be thinking, oh, this wasn't quite right with that performance, that wasn't quite right. But generally speaking, you just got to remember, you've just pumped Wales and you're 3 from 3, and England up next in Twickenham, and not looking like anyone's going to stop that quest for what would be historic and incredible. And that is just where that Irish team are at. And again, 31-7 feels harsh on that Wales effort, and effort is one thing that Wales bring in bucket loads. Heart, effort, lacking quality, but those young guys are going to get incredible experience from this one. So what were the tries? There was Dan Sheehan with that maul try. I'll go through the game in a second. I'm going to need to just have a little look at the notes that I've made, because it's all a big blur at this point, because the whole point of this video is my full-time hot takes. Immediately following full-time, I'll give you exactly what I thought with no filter, and there we go. If you appreciate the content on the channel, then hit subscribe, give the video a thumbs up. That helps reach rugby fans around the world. And give your comments as well. How are you feeling if you're an Irish fan or a Wales fan? Am I right in saying that? There's a sense of slight frustration despite the scoreline if you're Irish, and a sense of optimism despite the scoreline if you're Welsh. Right. Let's have a little look at this then. So one of the things I said on the video previewing this match is Wales are going to need to do what they did in the first couple of games and have a very low error and penalty count, as they managed to. There was some, 60 minutes of rugby, Wales didn't concede a penalty. The first half was characterised by relentless penalties for Wales, against Wales I should say, and I think that's just the pressure that Ireland brought on them. They weren't able to hold that discipline in check. I think when you look at the game over 80 minutes, there'll be some Irish fans going, hold on a minute, how many penalties did Wales give away in the first half with no final warning and no yellow cards, and we got 2 yellow cards and a penalty try against us? I think that would be a legitimate criticism. Oh, sorry, you're right. How you doing? That would be a legitimate criticism, but I think the yellow cards and the penalties in the second half for Ireland were justified. Wales were on the wrong side of the referee in the first half. Bear with me a second. Talk amongst yourselves for a sec. There we go. Yes, right, here we go. Wales very tough to beat early on. But you just always felt that was going to be really hard to sustain. If you couldn't keep possession of the ball and you couldn't get that territorial advantage, then Ireland are just going to break you down, which they eventually did with a line-out maul try. It was quite funny seeing Jack Crowley being the man that he was the weight that got added, that got Dan Sheehan over the line. Dan Sheehan is just a rugby cheat code at the minute. The guy is incredible. What was that? 4 tries in this tournament? 9 tries in 24 test matches, albeit, yeah, more tries are easier to get and hookers get their fair share of them, but he's absolutely awesome. Dan Sheehan feels like the dude out of the Avengers. Dan Sheehan is inevitable. I can't not see, since it was pointed out as well, Jack Crowley just looks like a slightly shrunken Dwayne Vermeulen. They do look similar. There's a Thor quality about Jack Crowley. What else have we got here? Oh yeah, James Lowe scored a try after some multi-phase. That's what I expect to see from Ireland. And when they actually pull it together and they can keep that multi-phase rugby going, there's no one else that can retain the ball and play the type of rugby that they do. It's brilliant to watch. And that try where they were banging on the door for ages, phase after phase after phase, and going coast to coast and keeping hold of the ball, and that offload from Calvin Nash, hasn't he slotted into this Irish team brilliantly? There was a lot of talk before the game of Wales getting to Kieran Frawley, attacking him. I didn't see too much of that today. Ireland will want Hugo Keenan back for the England match, there's no question. But equally, Wales did not get to Frawley in the way that some were thinking they might. Was the atmosphere a little bit quiet? I don't know if it's just the TV, but it seems slightly quiet. Is that just the high expectations now of this Irish team? A win is expected, and also a bit of style while you do it. I have to say, at 17-0 down, I was thinking to myself, Wales, take the 3. This is test match rugby. Take the 3, build a score, 3-6-9. They didn't. They opted to go for the corner, and it didn't pay off in the first half. They had a penalty right in front of the posts, and I thought, there is a time to take the 3s now. I get that it's not as fashionable now, and the trend tends to be to go for the corner, but I don't know. They lost handsomely in the end, so what does it really matter? But it does change the complexion of a game, just taking something into the dressing room. Caelan Doris's moustache, loving it, the wing commander look. Ireland's defence is frightening. That gain line, and Joe McCarthy, what an absolute beast on the gain line. But the second half, half an hour to kick off here. The England team just warming up down there. Scotland over there. The atmosphere is starting to build nicely. Edinburgh's such a fun city, I've got to say. But yeah, second half, total change, wasn't it? Wales started to play. Hold on, I've got my notes on the second half, bear with me. Enjoy. Come on. I'm going to change my hand as well because my shoulder's killing me. See, right, it's just me on Egg Chasers. It is just me. But consequently, there is no one holding a camera for me. No one else holding notes So yeah, it's just me. And if you appreciate that fact that I'm trying and I'm completely on my own, then give your support of the channel. Give me that subscription. I would love it. Yeah, I'm in Scotland. I went for a chippy tea last night. My sister lives in Edinburgh, and I went for a chippy tea last night with her husband. And there were lots of things battered in that chip shop. I don't know what they were. Look, it could have been anything. But there were lots of things battered. The other thing that was getting battered was, as I say, that Wales gain line. And I mentioned Joe McCarthy. The guy's a freak. However, they just could not put Wales away. And that is just to Wales's credit. They are a nuggety, tough, resilient, belligerent bunch, aren't they? And that is what Warren Gatland teams do. What's Warren Gatland's mantra? Be the best at the things that require no skill. Just be hard. And for a bunch of young guys to apply themselves the way they did in that second half, to frustrate Ireland in the way that they did, to squeeze out those penalties, to start to get a bit of parity, it's a massive credit to Wales. Bearing in mind where they are in their journey, they're going to get a lot better. And when they get guys coming back into their ranks that are top class players, and then they've got experience, like Cam Winnett, he's about 11 stone soaked through. He's played a handful of senior games, and fair play, he puts it about. I'm very impressed. Oh yeah. Penalty try. Did it seem to you a little bit like the referee wasn't the one in control and Carl Dixon was just kind of telling him what's what? It's like he was the teacher and the referee was on work experience. It was a strange one, but the right decision, I think, in the end. Although people here in Murrayfield would have said, hold on, if that try was last week, it would not have been given, because it did look like Ireland may have held up their own try for that one. But that sparked a bit of a breathless spell. Sevens rugby, long periods of play. There was one point where I couldn't tell if it was Andrew Porter or was it Gareth Thomas. One of the props lost a boot, and it was about 5 minutes before they managed to get it put back on. Tom Walker performing. It's about 5 minutes of rugby before he managed to put it back on, because it was just the ball wasn't kicked out. Breathless, end to end, non-stop. I loved it. Really, really good fun. You felt that Ireland just needed to put a bit more structure on the game, though. Wales actually quite like it, and we saw it in the second half against Scotland, didn't we, in Cardiff? Wales love it when it's loose, and they seem good when it's loose. Ireland, yes, loose, but within their structure. And we saw in the last minute when they scored the bonus point try what Ireland can do. That was the most Irish-like bit of attack that we saw in the whole match, really. The final moments that got them the bonus point try. Oh yeah, the Jaeger bomb squad came on. Ollie Jaeger got his debut. There was an impact. Just those guys that came on. James Ryan came on, and I love it. You can tell he's like, understandably, he should be hurting that he's not starting for Ireland, but he can't complain. But he came on and just putting it about, and the forwards that Andy Farrell can bring on is frightening. Oh yeah, Elliot D spinning the ball on his fingers was worth 5 points. Do Ireland have line-out issues? It was like the World Cup again at times. But then they hit reboot. Bundyaki, who was awesome again, got a try. And yeah, Ireland just kind of did Ireland things in the last few minutes. Thoroughly enjoyed the game. I think both teams come out with some credit. Those are my thoughts. It's properly building up to kick-off here. So I'm going to go and get my seat and bring you all the action from Murrayfield. Thank you very much for your support on the channel. I'll see you on the next one.